What's going on, everybody? This is Mortym bringing you Stage 8 of the Maelstrom Arena, the Igneous Cistern. Now, as far as mechanics go, this one is actually really easy. While you're doing the 4 rounds, there's just fireballs that come up from the surrounding lava. Now, the main thing you have to worry about here in terms of enemies are the fact that they all just hit really hard. They do have healers that actually heal for quite a bit. You want to focus on those Kingalds first. They are the priority. At the very least, dot them up with the dots we are using as the Venom Claw, which I will provide a link to, but I'm not going to get into it here. The Kingalds are important to kill because every once in a while they'll do an important, it is interruptible, but it's very important to watch for it. They'll do this big Inferno thing. Reflective scales will not reflect it, and it's pretty much unmitigatable. I believe you can dodge it, but I'm not 100% on that. And if you don't interrupt them while they're doing it, or if they're just not dead or whatever else, it does a lot of damage. You need to put them down quick. The other mechanic are these ward stones. Every boss is going to put up a ward stone. The rounds just use one, the final boss uses all 3. But destroy the ward stone, and during the rounds it will stun the associated enemy who's using the ward for about 3 seconds, I believe it is, and then you will do some damage. Now, the thing to watch out for with these Infernal Destroyers, which are the big Lurcher-style enemies from other parts of the game, is they hit very hard. You need to time your blocks properly, because if you don't, they're just going to knock the crap out of you and you're going to die. The defense power-up is pretty useful right here if you're not trying to get a world record type score. Now, that was round 1, so on to round 2. Round 2 is Shulks and a Kingald. Again, you want to focus on the Kingald first. The Shulks, they're not actually that threatening. They don't do a lot of damage. They're just kind of annoying. So you want to kill them where you can. As you can see right there, those Kingalds do a lot of damage very quickly. And the Shulks don't actually count towards the respawning of new enemies. The second wave here is those 2 healers in addition to the Shulks. And if you need to, pick up the defense power-up. There's a lot of range DPS in this round. So that defense power-up becomes very helpful because it reflects things all on its own. After you get the healers down, the Lurcher and the 2 Flame Atronachs will spawn. And so you want to destroy the Warding Stone, obviously, first. Do your best to block. Put the Flame Atronachs down where you can, but as a Dragonite with reflective scales, they're not super important. And plus, they just don't have a lot of health, so you can dot them and then use reflective scales to make them kill themselves on that if you need to. And as for the second Infernal Destroyer, it is exactly the same as the first one. Just block his big heavy attacks, kind of get used to the animations for them, and then just dot him down and spam Bloodthirst where you need to, and he should die pretty quickly. Like so. Now, round 3, if this is the one I'm thinking of, I believe it is. No, sorry, I was thinking round 4. Round 3 is actually pretty easy. The healers are going to be very annoying. The only thing you have to watch out for with the Catlifs is that right there. If you get too far away from them, they'll actually critically charge you, and it can be pretty painful to take that hit. And if you're low health, you just die. So, you want to focus on the healers, but try to drag the Catlifs with you slowly so they don't critically charge you. Try not to get too far away from them, or they just charge you like that guy did there. I was able to block it, which actually took about half the damage off of it. The Catlifs themselves, as long as you're not too far away from them and you're blocking their uppercut, they're really not that bad. They don't hit for that hard. And then, once you get both of the Catlifs down, we spawn the Lurcher for this round, which again is very easy. As you can see, he hits incredibly hard if you don't block that. Now he spawns with a Kingald, which, as I discussed earlier, is very annoying. I was picking up some power-ups here just to make things a little easier on myself. Now, I'd like to destroy the Ward Stone first just to stun the guy, and even if I don't take advantage of that to hit him, I can use that time to kill the adds that summon in with him with something like Dawnbreaker or things like that. And then once the Lurcher's by himself and you've kind of learned to time the blocks, they're really a breeze to kill. There's nothing to them. You cannot dodge that fire thing. You're just not going to make it out from in front of him in time. And you can block it, luckily, which will take some damage, but you're going to get hit by that regardless. The rest of them you can block and take a lot of the damage off. And as you can see, there we go. Round 3 is done. Now, round 4 is a little harder. When it starts, I recommend picking up the defense power-up immediately because it summons in 4 casters, and they start hitting you constantly. It's 2 healers, 2 of the Kingalds, and a Shulk. Now, you want to focus on the Kingalds, of course, but it can be a little difficult because you have to out-DPS the healing that's being done because the 2 healers spawn in. Now, with that defense power-up, you could probably do either or, but I like to focus on the Kingalds. Now, once you get all those guys down, it's not nearly as bad. I like to try to kill the Shulk first because, like I said, if you kill the Shulk, then the next round doesn't spawn immediately on top of you. Now, for here, it just spawns in 2 of the Catlips, which, as I discussed earlier, as long as you can stay close to them and block their uppercuts, they're really not that big of a deal. Now, here's where it gets a little difficult. After you kill those 2 Catlips, it spawns in the 4th round boss, which is that Flame Knight, who is very large, following behind me. She's going to summon in 2 healers with her, which need to die. Now, she doesn't summon in anything after these healers die, so you need to make that point, because if you do enough damage, they'll just heal her, so they need to die very quickly. If you need a little bit of time, you can destroy her Ward Stone to stun her like the Lurchers previously. And don't do what I do, which is focus kind of half-heartedly on the last healer there, and I had to hit him like 3 or 4 times. Now, the thing about the Flame Knight is she will drop a standard, similar to the Dragon Knight's own ability, and she will occasionally chain pull you into it if you're standing in the middle of it. Now, beyond that, she hits very, very hard. You want to try to mitigate and get away from as much of her stuff as you can, because she just hits very hard. And that's honestly the biggest thing about her, is you just have to mitigate all the damage she does. Use the healing pickup. The defense you will have used at the start of the round, so it can be a little more difficult. But eventually you'll get her down. Now, for the final round, all 3 of the Ward Stones come up. You want to be DPSing them immediately. And you want to hit all 3 of them because the boss is invulnerable while they're up, like the other mini-bosses from previously this round. And if it was just that, it would be a breeze, because she hits hard, make no mistake, but not hard enough for it to be a problem. Now, she's going to summon in Kingalds occasionally, but use the defense power-up if you have to, and once you have all 3 Ward Stones down, you need to completely focus on her. Ignore the Kingalds if you have to, use reflective scales, whatever you got. She needs to be the priority, because when she dies, they all despawn. It doesn't matter. So, dot up the Kingalds where you can. Best I can tell, she only ever summons 1 at a time, so if you can interrupt their Inferno thing they do, and just kind of not bother, or grab the healing pickup like I do here, and just get healed through it, then it's whatever. Eventually they'll kill themselves on your reflective scales with their regular attacks, and you can focus back on Tephra. Now, she does summon 2 Flame Atronachs right around 50%. She will do it again later if you don't kill her fast enough. But you should have enough DPS that on the 2nd round, you can usually kill her right out. Now, sometimes you need 3 just because you're a bit of a goof like I am and kind of mess up. So, the Flame Atronachs are nothing. I actually wouldn't recommend paying any attention to them, especially as a Dragon Knight, because they will just kill themselves on your reflective scales as long as you keep it up. What's much more difficult is dealing with Tephra, the Kingald, and the Atronachs hitting you at the same time. So, if you need to, if things get a little crazy, use your Dawnbreaker to stun them or something like that, and they'll go down very fast, because like I said, they don't have a lot of health, so that dot will basically murder them by itself. And between that and reflective scales, it shouldn't be a big deal. So, again, just focus on getting the Ward Stones down. Once you do enough damage to Tephra, she should be pretty low. At the most, it should take you 3 rounds of this. If not, you're probably just dead anyway. And DPS her down, apply the dots where you need to, and kill her. And that's all that is. She's probably the easiest one besides Maxis to kill. So there it is, guys. Stage 8 as the Venom Claw. If you liked the video, please subscribe, but I hope you have a great day either way.